Hello, I am your school's checkup guidance counselor, whatever you want to say. With midterms coming up, I understand that it is a very stressful, anxious period at the moment. So my goal is to just check up on how you're doing so far, just to make sure that you're taking care of yourself before you take care of any arbitrary assignments that professors assign to you to supposedly learn the subject that you're, studying at the moment. So, just to ask you some preliminary questions. Have you been sleeping roughly between 6 to 8 hours a night? Typically, sleeping schedules can fluctuate, but it's determined by what your natural circadian rhythm is. If, for example, you only get 4 hours a night, but you compensate by taking a nap during the afternoon, then that's a very natural phenomenon. It's a biphasic sleep schedule or biphasic sleep schedule, and it is actually one of the most natural ways to sleep. But if you're someone who's depriving themselves of sleep in order to complete any tasks and then having to wake up early in the next morning to go to work or to complete more tasks, that's what I want to make sure that you pay attention to in order to best correct it. Okay, well, in that case, let's see, write up some little remedies that you can use. First and foremost, let's get you on some soothing teas at night, whether that be sleepy time or lavender tea or chamomile tea. Anything that gives you a very relaxed, sleepy, harmonious feel would be perfect for you. Next, I want you to put on some very soft lighting, like I have right now, a very orange, soft, warm lighting. That way it really brings you down, just silences your thoughts and just calms you down. That way you can just get your head out of this constant rush of things you need to do, the next thing you need to do, the next thing you need to do, the next thing you need to do. Because frankly, if you throw your head or throw your brain into this marathon of activities, of these marathon of homework and assignments and essays and tests and blah, 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 you're going to notice that it's this never-ending pile of work. When in reality, you should sort of pick yourself up, pluck yourself out of this routine and look at it from a bird's eye. In fact, close your eyes right now and imagine yourself above your world. Imagine you're in the clouds looking down at yourself, studying, doing homework, writing essays. And notice how cyclical this nature is. Notice how you're just never stopping. Notice how there's other things going on around you. Your bed, your reading assignments, not assignments, your leisure reading you want to do on your side, or Netflix, or hanging out with friends, or other projects you want to get done, or just relaxing, just doing nothing is doing something. And notice how you're pushing all the time and effort to just this one task, which you're doing at 100 miles an hour, which could really be done at 10 or 20 miles an hour. Take a deep breath. Let it go. And then open up your eyes. And try to let yourself sink into wherever you are. Just to feel the moment. Recognize that there is nothing you need to do. They're all tasks you feel like you need to do because people put pressure on you. They say that you have to do this, you have to do that, get this done, get that done, this is the due date, this is that, this is this. None of that needs to be done. You can miss an assignment. You cannot turn in an essay. You can fail a test. You can forget, not care about your homework. It's fine. Your grade will probably still be decent. You'll still pass. And you'll still get good grades even. Just let yourself indulge in not doing anything. Because ultimately you want to prioritize yourself and your health over whatever assignments you have. Because frankly, in this very cyclical nature of production, having to constantly be something, do something, identify yourself based on what your grades are, what you do, what you're studying, it's inherently unhealthy and produces this very competitive mode inside yourself where you measure your own worth based compared to others and what you study compared to whatever standard people constantly propagate. And that only benefits the schools you go to, how their record reflects compared to other universities, compared to other high schools, compared to other schools. And employers who end up preying on this vulnerability, on this anxiety, on this insecurity of you constantly measuring yourself compared to others. And they take advantage of you. Schools take advantage of you. They say, hey, if you end up spending more money on this, then we'll, it'll make you better than the next person. When in reality, no one cares. No one's going to look at your SAT scores or your ACT scores or your entrance exams or whatever else. Ultimately, you're probably going to get to the same place that someone who studied their ass off is already at. So, recognize your needs. You need sleep. You need to eat. You need to laugh and enjoy the company of those that make you feel good. You need to relax. These are actual needs you need to take account of. And let me write this down in your list of reminders. I'm going to just snip this little sheet right there for you to have. Just as a reminder, a physical copy, not an email. Granted, emails have their place, they're very convenient, but ultimately what we forget to inculcate in our personal life is having something tangible, something different, a different texture for us to have, a connection with paper, something that had a soul to it, going into bed, comfort, resting or supporting your head instead of some stone seat that's highly uncomfortable, very small, in order to pack in as many students as possible. Once again, as I was stating before, you need sleep, you need food, you need to relax, you need to have a social life, or any form of enjoyment, any type of social life. If that's online gaming, that's a social life. If that's hanging out with friends, that's a social life. If that's just messaging your friends and keeping up a rapport, that's having a social life. Any interaction with another human being that is away from what is the assigned homework, how do you do it, is healthy for you. Do not let any of these people, any of these rules, constructs delude you into believing that your life is hinged upon what grades you get, how you look on paper, what you do, what you study, where you work, what you end up becoming. What you want to take care of and what you need to recognize is an actual need are your basic needs, which you're neglecting right now in favor of these arbitrary assignments that will continue to flood in. And frankly, if it gets to a point where it's just too much, just let it flood in. Let the dam break and let yourself just be coasted off into a peaceful sort of flow. But do not let yourself start fighting against these currents consistently, because frankly, you're going to get to a point where you just exhaust yourself and you drown. Just let yourself coast when it becomes too much and let things go. Let the assignment pass. Your grade will not suffer unless you completely ignore every single assignment you do and bomb every test you take and not complete any of the essays you have assigned. Your grade will be fine. As long as you get it done, you'll get a passing grade, and that's that. You don't have to strive for perfection. Do the minimum amount of effort necessary to complete an assignment rather than the maximum, and that in itself will be enough. And if they don't appreciate that, then frankly, who cares? Because if they don't appreciate that, they don't appreciate you. And if they don't appreciate you, why should you appreciate their opinion? Now, if in the future you do want to discuss, your state, whether it be anxiety or any other malady, throughout the semester, throughout the quarter, whatever, do not feel afraid to come back to my office. Do not feel nervous. Do not feel worried to come back to my office and check up with me again. That way I can just give you reminders just to, you know, inculcate what your real motive should be or what your real priority should be, and to help guide you down a more healthy and reasonable path for you. So I hope the rest of your studies go well, and if you find yourself feeling stressed, then once again you can feel free to come to me and remember the pointers that I've given you. So once again, remember to take care of yourself, have a good night's rest, and just relax.